I am Esther Tarsoy, and I am lecturer in teaching at the School of Slavonic and East European Studies, where I teach courses in sociolinguistics as well as Hungarian.
And I'm Jelena Čalić, and I'm lecturer in teaching at School of Slavonic and East European Studies, where I also teach some sociolinguistic courses and courses in Serbo-Croatian.
Today, we would like to talk to you about our course entitled Discourses of Perfection, whose subtitle is Standard Language Ideologies in Eastern Europe from Historical and Area Perspectives. So this is a course on which we would like to explore language ideologies in a panchronic as well as areal perspective. By panchronic, we mean that we would like to include reflections and ideas about language from as far back in history as they are available, but focusing mostly on the period when language ideology and thinking about language becomes relevant to Eastern Europe. So that's the areal part of our course. This course, therefore, explores European culture and society through the lens of attitudes towards and beliefs about language, which characterize the European tradition on the whole. Images of purity and dirt, standard versus marginal, structured versus irregular, appropriate versus inappropriate, or national versus foreign, have permeated thinking about language in the West, at least since the Enlightenment. These ideas also trickle down to Eastern Europe. When linguistic diversity is addressed by various non-specialist stakeholders, such as policymakers, educators, and interested members of the public or editors, diversity is generally understood against the backdrop of a conceptual framework which takes monolingualism for granted, particularly in Eastern Europe and various parts of Central Europe. This is true despite the fact that in most parts of the world, multilingualism is still the norm today, and particularly Central and Eastern Europe, where very linguistically complex multilingual regions of Europe. The course we are presenting to you surveys in an area perspective the main trends in ideologies of language and the most important methodological approaches to the study of questions such as the following. What is peculiar about the way in which language is understood in Europe, and in particular in Eastern Europe? What are the pitfalls of framing language as a tool or as a container whose content can be uncoupled from its form? What is the primary function of language and communication? Is it the transfer of information, the transfer of content, or is it more the building of social bonds with other people around us? What are the cultural, social, political, and language typological factors which underpin discourses of standard language in Europe? How can the cross-linguistic diversity of attitudes towards language and the patterns of convergence between them explain the way we talk and the way we talk about language? By exploring the history of ideas about language, this course pins down the processes through which beliefs about language are transmitted across languages and geographic areas of Europe. Typically, this happens from west to east. A critical treatment of values associated with language education and utilitarian arguments for a single lingua franca, which typify current debates, will complete the themes covered by the course.
At the end of the module, you will have acquired a thorough understanding of ways in which cultural, social, political, and language internal factors influence our ways of talking and of the cross-linguistic diversity of attitudes towards language. Also, an outlook on how ideas about language spread and converge across languages and political borders, revealing important trends in the distribution of power and cultural alignments. At the end of the course, you will also have acquired introductory knowledge of research methods in sociolinguistics and discourse analysis, and practicing critical reading of contemporary debates in the discipline. Also, a critical approach to values associated with language education and the study of language.
Now, among the themes that you may want to explore in your essays, you can think of topics such as what are orthographies about? Who invented them and what are they good for other than testing your knowledge at school about orthography itself? What is the point of naming languages? If language or languaging is just a part of human behavior, why is it that we have these named entities which we normally think of as languages? And why is it that some languages, which we think of as one, can have more than one names at the same time? What is the common between poetry and grammar writing? So questions such as these will be offered for you to explore, but of course you can also come up with topics of your choice. The assessment will be in two parts. The first part of your assessment will be a video essay. That will be about 1,500 words in length, and it can be something as straightforward as a PowerPoint presentation which you record, where you present slides that you explain and interpret in speaking. You can also include audio files. For example, if you want to analyze a piece of language, for instance, a dialogue in which someone discusses attitudes towards language, then you don't have to transcribe that interview or that discussion. You can just include the audio in the video essay and analyze it either on slides or in writing or in a presentation. But you can also make a short film if you wish about a topic of your choice, or you can include anything interesting that is visual about the visual representations of language, such as various font types, script types, and so on. So this video essay will be about 35% of your final mark. And alongside this, the sort of other 65% will consist of a coursework essay, which is about 3,000 words in length. And that will also be on a topic that we agree on, but it can also be a further elaboration of the topic that you covered in your video essay. We opted for video essay as a form of assessment because, other than learning about language ideologies, we would also like to encourage you to explore your ability to present online and to present your ideas in an online form, in a digitized film or videoed lecture form, which will hopefully prepare you for a new world where we live a greater part of our lives online than we did before.
Yes, so this is all about the course we wanted to share with you. You're more than welcome to contact us via the institution if you need any further information about the course. But other than that, we hope you will join us in the autumn term next year. And I think we'll have our classes on Thursdays, aren't we, Esther?
Yes, Thursdays 4 to 6.
Okay, thank you very much and hope to see you. Bye-bye.
We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.